Okay, right. So, hello everybody. Welcome to the sound test room. Can anyone just let me know that they can hear me, and now we can proceed. If you can, I'd like to say hi to Ryan from Audio Symmetric. Although he can't stay, and he's probably not here now. Thanks for popping in, Ryan. Your app is incredible. Right, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at ZOA. I'm sure that a lot of you are already familiar with ZOA. It's been around for a while. And recently it had another update, which included some new stuff for the grid here and other bits and pieces, and this brilliant new thing in the pace. So instead of having like sort of 8/16, etc., it has golden whole, golden half. And this is what we're going to be concentrating on tonight. The golden ratio thing that Ryan's implemented for the math part of ZOA. Now, I'm no mathematician, but the golden ratio is based on the Fibonacci sequence. And the number of the Fibonacci sequence is 1.618. I've just gone on to had a look. It means nothing to me because I don't know. Not a clue. None whatsoever. What I do know is that if you use it in art and stuff, it's supposed to make everything look aesthetically pleasing. And in this, it makes everything just sound beautiful. Now, at the moment, before I start, and this is why I haven't started playing the sequence yet, because I will play the sequence and then I will set one up for you and show you what to do. But I've got two ZOAs running. The first ZOA here is controlling these synths here. So it's Lagrange, Synthmaster 1, Module, and Quanta. The second ZOA at the moment is just controlling Ting and Slammer from Clevegrand. But the thing to remember is every single playhead, which has been routed to the different synths via MIDI, obviously, in AUM, is either playing, it's a golden 8th on this one, a golden 16th, a golden 8th, a golden 16th. And then on the two that are controlling Slammer and Ting, we have a golden quarter and a gold, and oh no, we have nothing on there. A golden quarter and a golden 16th on the first two, because they're the only two that I've added to. So theoretically, this should sound beautiful and relaxing, and it does. And I want you to pay particular attention to how it sounds, and then I will show you how it sounds with the metronome as well. And you'll know, because they don't exactly fall exactly on the beat. They're all slightly off. So golden quarter is slightly faster than 1/4. Golden 8th is slightly faster than 1/8. And couple this with the Game of Life, the Conway's Game of Life math, which is the way that this works, right? This creates two beautiful mathematical things for you to play your MIDI synths with, and it just sounds lush. In fact, it sounds like nothing else. It really does sound like nothing else. Anyway, I've got both of these set to minor pentatonic, except for the tings, which I've got for chromatic. The scale is chromatic because the tings fire off chromatically. Now, okay, without me talking any further, I'm just going to start to play the sequence. I'm going to blend in the quanta. I'm going to close the microphone, and I just want you to listen. And if you're wearing headphones, even better. So it's lush, right? It's absolutely brilliant. Now you might have heard me changing key via the MIDI keyboard. ZOA responds to MIDI input, so I can change the key with the key step. Okay, so yeah, you definitely need this app. If you like MIDI sequences, you want this app. Now here's the interesting thing. That sounds very rhythmical, right? And even if we change the tempo, you can hear it change tempo. However, because that number is not a kind of quantized number, because the Fibonacci number, the golden ratio number, it's not a quantized number. You'll hear this massively now if we put in the metronome, right? So you just listen. So when you put the metronome in, it doesn't sound, it's not in. So it's very, very difficult to do this on any other sequencer. You can change all sorts of resolutions on other sequences. You can on ZOA as well. You've not just got the golden, you've got all the normal stuff as well. Bars, 16 bars, blah, 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 blah. And then you've got these golden ones. So we're just using the golden ones. And because they don't sit with normal kind of resolutions, it sounds lovely and it's different, and it just sounds, there's something special about it when you have everything set right. Now that's the key, to have all your playheads set the same, because look, if we all of a sudden decide to go into the one that's controlling ting, which is number 2 here, and it's sequence 1 and it's on golden 16ths, I hold this and I change this to ordinary 16ths, this is not going to sound good. It's going to sound awful. Okay, so watch. So now it's having no relationship to what the other ones are playing, except that it is playing exactly right with the thing. So if I solo this one, for instance, and I put the metronome on, it's spot on. But play it with the others, it's all wrong, because it's not using the golden ratio. If we put it back to one of the golden ratio ones, maybe we could put it onto 30 seconds. It's going to fit in. It's going to play faster, but it's going to sound great. So ZOA is capable of so much more than this kind of thing, and to do this, the best thing for us to do is to set up a fresh project. So if we save this one, we'll go save session, overwrite, yes, and I'll set up a new one. Clear this one, sure. So first thing we want to do is we'll add a MIDI channel. We'll add one. You add it in this, and you add one ZOA from the audio unit MIDI processor page. Okay, and we'll add, for starters, we'll add 2 channels. Okay, so we'll add the same instrument, because you can hear there's certain things I want you to be able to hear ZOA doing to the same instruments, so you get an idea of the power when you start to build up big projects. And of course, because ZOA is an AUV3, you can have as many of these as you like. You can have 3 of these and then basically have the ability to use 16 MIDI channels to different things. And because you can have ZOA fire off very, very slowly here and there, depending on the game of life, it's just awesome for ambient music. It's lovely. Right, so here we go. Let's use module. So I'm going to go to module here, and I'm going to also put module into this as well. So module. And I'm going to hook up my MIDI keyboard just for now. And I'll also hook it up to this one. So, and I'm just going to find a really nice sound that we can use. So maybe we'll go down to something like the, not the near, sort of far north, and maybe find something that's really lush, but not. Right, so that's. Or maybe not. Maybe. Maybe an electric piano or something. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, we'll use that because you can hear what's going on. So. And we'll turn up the output level as well. And so what are we on? Electric piano synthetic EP. I will set this one to the same instrument. So electric piano and synthetic EP. Just let's make sure. And I'll make some adjustments again to the release and the level. So they're both basically playing the same thing, okay? It's fine. We can disconnect the key step now, okay? And we want to hook them up to ZOA. So now you can either have them playing on all the channels, or I'm just going to put this onto number 1, play head number 1, and I'm going to put this one onto play head number 2. Okay, so we'll start it off. You'll see that playhead number 1 is now playing our first module. Playhead number 2 is disabled. So let me show you a couple of things. This one will advance the auto advance. So at the moment, auto advance is on and it's advancing a quarter note. You won't really notice this unless you're an absolute genius, but we can clear out the grid and then we can kind of draw, and you can copy these oscillator shapes from the internet if you want to. But this is like the game of life type thing. So if we have auto advance turned off, it's just going to run this particular, and we'll turn auto respawn off as well. So nothing's going to happen. It's just going to play this. If we want to advance it once, we use this grid action. And if we have auto advanced on, it'll run through various sequences. Maybe it'll lock itself up like this, in which case we can go, oh, no, we can't. We'll have to do this. But if we have auto respawn on, it's never going to stop playing notes. Second thing we have is we can change our root note here. Our octave. Our scale, we have some scales. So let's choose a minor pentatonic again. And then arrange. Okay, and then we can go with grid size small. And if we clear this grid now, switch off auto advance and auto respawn, we can draw in our own kind of shape if we want to. And this is where your rules will come in very handy. You'll see it says rule is up at the moment, so it'll go from this one and just go up. Or we can go down, or we can go up and down. We can go down and up. Just place the first one, good for basses. Last one. Random. Oh. Go walk. The patterns here, so let's fill in a few more. Over this side, let's set the range to be more. This pattern, if I add more patterns in here, see it's changing. So add maybe 6, but then we can add bits and pieces in. But it's only 6 steps long, so it's going to be kind of like a polyrhythm if we add another thing in. However, at the moment, let's just take this down to 1. And it's on, let's have it just on rise. And this what I'm going to show you now is one of the very, very useful things. If we now go to our second playhead, which is disabled, let's extend the length so it's less gated. Okay. The rule is rise, pattern is 1, so we haven't done a lot of messing around with this. So we want to go to rise. But what we're going to do is switch it on, and it's playing the same thing, right? Except for the gate length. But we can now set an offset so we can get it to play 7ths or whatever we like. So let's go with the offset and so now you've got it playing 7ths, which is really nice. Okay, let's get into the golden ratio. Let's say we set our second one to golden 8th. And now you'll hear the difference. And you'll hear it more now when I change the sound of the second one. So it's starting to sound off now because it actually is. Hi Robophonic, yes you are very welcome. So let's change our first one to also a golden ratio, but not the same. Let's change it to golden quarter. Let's change this one to something a bit more kind of mellow. Let's add some So now this is starting to sound lovely because they're both playing golden ratios, and if we listen to the metronome, it feels like it's not part of it. And this is where this ZOA is very clever at creating stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to do. So let's set up maybe a ting again, so you can get an idea of how the drums work as well, because that's really lovely. But really for that, it would be better if we had another ZOA, so we can have it locked in. However, we don't need to do that. We might get some interesting results if we use, we'll use Slammer. Let's route this to playhead number 3, ZOA's number 3 playhead. But then we need to, of course, remember we need to engage it. And it's on 8ths. Doesn't sound right. So let's go in, set this to a golden ratio, maybe golden 16ths. Give it a bit of a speedier pattern. And now when we engage it, so let's have some fun and switch on auto advance and auto respawn. Now it's constantly evolving. Let's change the kit maybe to slow it down. Let's add another quanta in, and I'll just want to get a sound on my MIDI keyboard there. Something nice. Or maybe some. Yeah, this ghost sound. Go back to, we can disconnect our key step and connect this to playhead number 4. Go to playhead number 4. Set this on a golden ratio of maybe quarters. Change it to up and down. We'll leave it normal, but this time we'll play with the pattern so we get some variation. I haven't engaged it yet, and we'll have it go down another octave, have the range stay on 2, and then effects on this. So one ZOA playing all this with the golden ratios, it's just lush, and constantly evolving. And we can slow this down as well. the speed it changes. Now, the thing I was doing earlier is that if we hook up ZOA to our key step or our whatever MIDI controller, that means we can now change the key and the octave. So if you watch here, the root note is D and our octave is -1. F now. C. Oh, thank you, Robot. Thank you very much. Yes, we are a friendly community. We try to keep the riffraff out. And you can get it. If you find something that you like, you can save it as a patch. So if you could go like, I could go back to my, what's my frames 1 preset? That was the one that was running the first session. So we could try that maybe, and there it is. And don't know what it'll sound like with this. So that's really cool. So setting up another one as well is a good idea if you want to add more ambience and stuff, because we can, if we slow all this stuff down, if we look at what's going on, let's switch auto spawn on, but let's basically kind of slow the spawns down to every 8 bars and decrease the, or no, increase the patterns, but don't populate all of them, just every now and then. Or change the ratio maybe to a golden half, which will be very slow. This is hardly going to play at all now. And this is playing this. Is it playing that one, or is it playing? Yeah, I think it's playing. Yeah, it's playing the slammer, but that's fine. So it's all kind of very melodic now, kind of just drifting around, and you could add more effects and stuff. We could add a delay to this. We could add maybe I don't know. Let me see. Please. Oh, yeah. Maybe change this one to maybe a real piano. Maybe put another black hole on there. So let's add some more instruments. Thank you, Leon. Thank you very much. Let's add an SM1. Let's add a Lagrange. let's add, we'll add a Messane. And then we'll add a ting for some percussion on the second ZOA. So this would be really cool. So we'll find our ting here. So we can set up our, we can set up our MIDI routing first. So we've got our second ZOA here, and it's easily findable. So we'll go with ZOA M1 number 2, which you can see here. So we can do this, and we'll route that to playhead 1. And then Lagrange will route to playhead 2. And then Messane will route to obviously playhead 3. And last but not least, we will route ting to playhead 4. Now, we can also now go and we really need to find some sounds. Don't need to worry too much about ting. But just for now, I'm going to also hook up the key step for this and choose a sound that I know will work really well, which is Orbit. So that's really nice. And we can unhook the key step from there. We can leave it connected to ZOA, but we'll do the same with Lagrange. And we'll see what's going on. That's nice. So this 1, 2, and then we can again take our key step off this one. So I'm not playing all of them. Listen, let's have a look, see what we can do with Messane, see what we can find. That's suitably tinkly. And like I said, we don't need to worry too much about ting, and we've already set up our routing, so we can just unhook the key step from the. And if we want to change keys on both of these, all we need to do is hook them both up to our key step, and it will change automatically for us. Now we need to set up ZOA. So we'll expand it. We'll leave it on full screen, and we'll leave it on. We'll set the pace again to maybe 4 bars for it to change, but that doesn't really make too much of a difference for us. What we're interested in is making sure our playheads are all enabled for the start off. So I all play, and setting up some golden ratios for each of these, but nothing too fast because I kind of want them to be tinkly. So maybe this one on the whole note, and we'll turn the length up, which will open the gate. Basically, the length is basically gate. The tuning, we could tune some of them to a 5th or a 4th. It's going to sound okay. We can, you know, try that out in a sec. So let's go to this one, and maybe we'll go with a golden half for this, because we're not looking for something to be super fast and busy. We're looking for it to be nice, gentle, soothing, and relaxing. So golden quarter. And then on the last one, which is ting, we could try the golden 16th, which is going to give us a little bit more kind of. So got golden quarter, and it'll jump straight to a golden 16th. Now we can make sure that our volumes are kind of a. We can let's just bring them in and see what happens. So here's our first one. Now just let me check what key am I on for the original one. C minor pentatonic. And the second one we've just added is major pentatonic, so we need to change that to a minor pentatonic, of course. And patterns are all set on 1 at the moment, so that's fine. We can adjust them. Hi, Tommy. How cool's this? All this with just 2 ZOAs. Awesome stuff. Now let's every 4 bars this will change. And now, because I've got my little key step, if we change key, oh, just chili beans for a minute. Really slow, 60 BPM. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, Norman. Because we're running with a golden ratio. Let me speed this back up. Because we're running a golden ratio, which is an odd number, it's not a number that stacks up with itself very well with so the sequences. So this is why it sounds so unique. It's very difficult to do this with any other sequencer, because most of the sequencers, even with shuffle, most of the sequencers run to a grid resolution, you know, 1/16, 1/32, 1/8T, 1/8 dotted, 1/8. If I switch, I demonstrated this earlier, but I can do it again. If I switch this, actually, if I switch the metronome on, you'll hear it immediately why it would never work with a why it would never work with like a 4/4 beat over it sort of thing. Or if we change out the ting here, which has been played by this, if we change that to just an ordinary 16th, it just doesn't work. And that's the magic. That's the magic right there. So if I did go through different things that you can do at the very beginning with the sequencer without having it respawn or repopulate and stuff like that. It's really very nice. So basically that's it, guys. I'll play this little thing as it goes out. Oh, thank you, David. Brilliant. Thank you very much. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this as ZOA 2. Now, the next time I do a ZOA session as well, ZOA 2, what I'm going to do is have ZOA playing a mixture of hardware synths and software synths. And we could, you can do this actually, you could do this in loopy as well, and you could actually record in your sequences as it's going, which would be quite nice. So I'm going to have it play some hardware synth and software synth, all controlled by the iPad, all controlled by ZOA actually. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me this evening. It was an absolute blast. ZOA is a marvelous thing. MIDI sequences, you know, we've got loads of them and loads of really great ones. And this just adds just something else as well that you could use. Especially the fact that you've got the Game of Life algorithms in there as well. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. But yeah, it really is great. You can do velocities, you can send off to different channels, you can do all your cool stuff. But I wanted to really focus on the golden ratio stuff because that's just marvelous. It's not like anything else, you know what I mean? It feels differently. It feels like some sort of very cool swing. And it's not like giving you this kind of weird, random, glitchy stuff, because as long as you have all your ZOAs locked into your scale, like in our case minor pentatonic, we have other scales as well. If you let go of this, it'll go away. You have to do two hands, but it has other scales that you can mess around with as well. But the pentatonics are lovely because they're just great. The fact that you can also change your MIDI notes, your octave and your thing with your MIDI keyboard as well, it's absolutely awesome stuff. Anyway, I'm going to play this for a couple of minutes, guys, and yeah, let's do something different. Let's kind of fade everything in as I turn the microphone down, and we'll leave the drums in to start with, and then we'll just fade the other stuff in. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow with some other cool bean stuff we can do with the iPad. Oh, let's just take this down to a nice 50 BPM, shall we? Now, although it doesn't lock in directly to the resolution, it does respond to the BPM, of course. Anyway, why so I have more notes? Oh, right. Okay. Sorry, Colin. Yeah. You can do small or large. You change the grid size here. It doesn't really matter. It'll just populate more. So let's get on with it, shall we? Let's respawn. So now you're just hearing the two things. I'll turn the microphone now. See you later. Yeah, Riffer is brilliant. Fugue Machine, Riffer, they're all brilliant.